Alex Flum is live at FedEx Field, where a pep rally is going on right now. And Alex, you got to hear from some big names there earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, Annalisa and Ben, that's exactly right. Yesterday we were at the party. Today we were at the official introduction. It's really setting in. It feels real. This whole new ownership group came in here to FedEx Field. They had their introductory press conference. Obviously, Josh Harris leading the way there. Mitchell Rails, another owner in that group, another local of this area. Mark Gine, another one, the big name as well. Again, as you guys mentioned, Magic Johnson, lots of big names coming in there. Legendary three-time Super Bowl winning coach Joe Gibbs was here. Other legends, Darryl Green, Doug Williams, lots of big names, big faces. And the big thing for Josh Harris is he remembers those legends. He is from Chevy Chase, Maryland in Montgomery County. He grew up rooting for this team, watching their games down in D.C., and he reminisced on that moment as he took the stage as the Commanders owner for the first time earlier today.
One of my first memories was walking down East Capitol Street with the rest of the fans, going into RFK Stadium, hearing the crowd, feeling the rumbling of the stadium, and it really had an indelible mark on me as a human being. This franchise is a part of who I am and who I became. Our work begins today, and I'm so excited to be on this journey together with the city.
And a big day for Josh Harris and his entire ownership group. Josh Harris actually went to elementary school with Mark Gine along the ownership group as well. Mitchell Rails talked about what it meant to grow up in this area and root for this team, and now all of them to be owners of this team. They addressed the fans just moments ago. You could see Josh Harris high-fiving fans in the front row. That's not something I don't think we saw from Dan Snyder in a 24-year span very much. So a new era, a big change, and a lot of excitement here at FedEx Field. At 5 o'clock, we'll talk about what the priorities are, what this team is going to be addressing. You will not want to miss that. But for now, Annalisa and Ben, I'm going to send things back to you guys in studio.
Flum is now live at FedEx Field, where a pep rally kicked off this afternoon. Now, Alex, again, a big day for the new Commanders ownership group, but also the DMV.
Yeah, Annalisa and Mark, it's a huge day for the DMV, huge day for this organization. Obviously, we heard for the first time here in the DMV, in Landover at FedEx Field, from Josh Harris and his ownership group. And now that they've taken over, it's all about the next steps. What's going to be the first thing that they're going to do? Are they going to focus on maybe changing the name again? Are they going to focus on moving this stadium somewhere or building a new one, or just kind of rebuilding this whole infrastructure and everything here in this franchise? Obviously, there's been a lot that some people have thought has kind of gone downhill under Dan Snyder, and they're going to try to turn the ship around here. Josh Harris noted and admitted that this is not going to be easy. Said he's excited, but said there was a little bit of a stressfulness involved in this to try to get things moving, figure out what to do. But this ownership is ready to do that. And here is what Harris said are his top 3 priorities as he takes over the Washington Commanders.
We got a lot to do. We got to get the team ready to win football games. We got to get out in the community and start to pay it forward, as Magic said. And we got to, change the stadium, right? And change the fan experience. We got to change the fan experience. And right now, that's going to be things like ingress and egress and food, and there's not that much we can do. And so our 3 priorities are those.
Yeah, so those are what they're saying their big 3 priorities are right now. He was asked about a potential name change, kind of danced around that one. Again, this Commanders team has had 3 different names in the last 24 years, and really in shorter than that under Dan Snyder, 2 playoff wins in that span. So I think Josh Harris a little more focused on getting those playoff wins, but the name thing is something that they could possibly explore.
Thank you. And before we let you go, how will the new ownership impact the future of the stadium?
Yeah, that's a really big one. Josh Harris did say this week that RFK Stadium is the spiritual home of this franchise. And the big thing about it is Maryland wants the stadium. DC wants the stadium. Virginia wants the stadium. So something this ownership group did say is that they all very much feel like they're on the same page, and they feel like they want the right things for this team, and that they're going to work together to come to the best decision. So I think they're going to look at all the options on the table, all those 3 different states, and we'll just have to see what happens. But, you know, I think it could go in any direction. I know a lot of fans would love to see it at RFK. Some people would like to see it stay here, and the Commonwealth of Virginia would definitely like to have them down there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where that happens. But on top of it all, Josh Harris made it clear he wants the fan experience at wherever the stadium is and whatever the stadium is to be a special one once again, which it somewhat hasn't been for a while here.
Everything went down this afternoon. Alex, a big day for the new Commanders ownership group.
Absolutely, Brandy. This is a big day for Josh Harris taking over this team. It's a huge day for the fans. They're all excited. It's also a pretty darn big day for this team. They've had to deal with all these distractions for 2.5 decades under Dan Snyder, and especially the last year or two, having to field questions about what's going to happen next with this team. And those distractions, at least for now, are over. And we spoke to a couple players, Terry McLaurin and Jonathan Allen, who are both at this press conference today, about what it's like to have this weight lifted off their shoulders and what they think of the new ownership group.
It seems more tangible, you know what I mean? I think hopes and dreams and wishes are great, but now that you have felt like there's a consistent plan in place with people you can trust, who are going to be people of their word, and guys that we can really lean on, who are open to not only us as players, but the staff, the fan experience. I think it's all encompassing, having the right people in place to make this a successful team and organization again.
They were awesome. They were asking me questions. They were asking about my opinion. They were just really just humble, down to earth, and just seemed like honest, good people, and I'm just really looking forward to the opportunity for working with them.
Well, Alex, those players there seem relieved, but I want to talk about the emotions that they must be feeling as they begin this new era.
Well, if you ever watch a movie and you see the end of the movie, and you know, I'm not going to exactly compare this, but you know, when they defeat the villain and it's all a happy ending and everybody's happy and relaxed, that's the vibe I got from Ron Rivera, John Allen, and Terry McLaurin at this press conference. They were happy, they were relaxed, something that we haven't really seen from them these last couple of years through all the stuff with Dan Snyder and all those struggles. But you know, they seemed very happy and very excited about this new era.
All right, thank you so much for your report all day, Alex.
Team. Again, Josh Harris. Our Alex Flum is live at FedEx Field, where a pep rally was happening earlier today. And Alex, hey, big day for the new Commanders owner and fans. You were there yesterday. You're continuing the coverage today. Hype still going.
Yeah, well, it was very awesome to see the fans in here getting to meet Josh Harris. He was running around high-fiving them. I said earlier today, it's not something we saw much, or if at all, from Dan Snyder in 2.5 decades here. But the really cool thing today here was to see Josh Harris really take his first steps in front of the media, in front of fans in FedEx Field. Obviously, this being the home of the Commanders, Josh Harris's new home here as an NFL owner. And I think the coolest thing of this story is the fact that, just like me and so many other people in this area, Josh Harris grew up rooting for the Washington Commanders. He grew up in Chevy Chase in Montgomery County, just outside of DC. And he talked about remembering actually rooting for the team growing up, going to games, and how special that was for him, and why it means so much to him to take over this team that he's loved for his entire life.
One of my first memories was walking down East Capitol Street with the rest of the fans, going into RFK Stadium, hearing the crowd, feeling the rumbling of the stadium, and it really had an indelible mark on me as a human being. This franchise is a part of who I am and who I became. Our work begins today, and I'm so excited to be on this journey together with the city.
Harris talked about that work that begins today, that work making this experience, being a Washington Commanders fan, one that is special again, one that allows these fans all around this area to just enjoy it and go to games and be happy. He said a top priority is fan experience at games, and I know him and his ownership team seem to be getting right to work on that, guys.
Friday evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9. I'm Tasmeen Mahfouz.
And I'm Mark Hall, filling in for Chris Flanagan, developing tonight a new era for the Commanders. Earlier today, there was a giant pep rally at FedEx Field to celebrate the new era of ownership. Our Alex Flum was there and caught up with new majority owner Josh Harris.
Hope has returned to the DMV in a form of a new football owner, and you could feel it on Friday at FedEx Field when Josh Harris and his ownership group were officially introduced.
It is my pleasure to formally introduce the new owner of the team and managing partner of the Commanders, Josh Harris.
For Josh Harris, who's from Chevy Chase, Maryland, it's a dream come true.
One of my first memories was walking down East Capitol Street with the rest of the fans, going into RFK Stadium, hearing the crowd, feeling the rumbling of the stadium, and it really had an indelible mark on me as a human being. This franchise is a part of who I am and who I became. Our work begins today, and I'm so excited to be on this journey together with the city.
Along with Harris, ownership partner Mitchell Rails also grew up here, while Magic Johnson is another big name in the group.
Josh and I talked. First thing I said was, "Do you want to win?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "I'm in."
When I tell you we share the same values and vision about what we want this organization to be, and the opportunity in the days, months, weeks, years ahead, it's unprecedented.
Now that they've gotten through all these introductory celebrations, it's time for the Josh Harris ownership group to get to work. There's a season that's about to happen, and they have a franchise that they are hoping to turn around, along with a fan base to win back. You know, we'll be covering it all as it unfolds. For now, reporting here in Landover, Maryland at FedEx Field, Alex Flum, DC News Now. Hope has returned to the DMV in a form of a new football owner, and you could feel it on Friday at FedEx Field when Josh Harris and his ownership group were officially introduced.
It is my pleasure to formally introduce the new owner of the team and managing partner of the Commanders, Josh Harris.
For Josh Harris, who's from Chevy Chase, Maryland, it's a dream come true.
One of my first memories was walking down East Capitol Street with the rest of the fans, going into RFK Stadium, hearing the crowd, feeling the rumbling of the stadium, and it really had an indelible mark on me as a human being. This franchise is a part of who I am and who I became. Our work begins today, and I'm so excited to be on this journey together with the city.
Bringing the organization back to its glory days that he remembers so well could be tough, but Harris is up for the challenge, talking about his first priorities on Friday.
We got a lot to do. We got to get the team ready to win football games. We got to get out in the community and start to pay it forward, you know, as Magic said. And we got to, you know, change the fan experience. We got to change the fan experience. And right now, that's going to be things like ingress and egress and food, and there's not that much we can do. And so our three priorities are those.
Along with Harris, ownership partner Mitchell Rails also grew up here, while Magic Johnson is another big name in the group.
Josh and I talked. The first thing I said was, "Do you want to win?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "I'm in."
When I tell you we share the same values and vision about what we want this organization to be, and the opportunity in the days, months, weeks, years ahead, it's unprecedented.
Leading his group, Harris knows what this team means to the DMV, and he knows the responsibility he has.
We're gonna draw you guys back in. This franchise is a part of who I am and who I became. It's part of my DNA. But I appreciate that it's not just about being a fan. I feel a tremendous sense of responsibility to this city to win championships, to create a positive impact on the community, and create great experiences and memories for future fans, just like I had growing up as a kid.
So you know how when a team wins a playoff game and they got to turn around the next day and get ready for the next one? That's a lot like what today is like for the Josh Harris ownership group and really this fan base. A chance to celebrate this. They can go home tonight, be happy about it, but this Josh Harris ownership group ready to get to work now as the season is just about to be upon us. They will plan to turn this franchise around. You know, we'll be covering it all as it unfolds. For now, reporting at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, Alex Flum for Game Night.